One day I will work out the time signature in that song, and today is not that day. Hello, it's a crow, it's a miss, it's a weird. How are? Thank you for the pandas and the corgis and such. Hello. And welcome to a stream. That's what this is, apparently. I'll go to how are? Up and down.
Oh yes, it's Chris.
Lingering on the S's there, like the sibilance, Hazel. Yeah. Hazel's been on the drink. She's a little bit pissed. Yes, so today might be a shorter stream purely because I wanted to do doodles, but my wrist is a little bit tender, not too bad. It's hug. Cute. Same to you. Don't blame her right now, yeah. Make sure to rest. I want that on as a poster, actually. In like the keep calm, carry on style. But anyway, yeah. So I thought I'd do doodles, because I wanted to doodle. But as I say, wrist, not hugest of friends at the moment, but not too bad. So it might be all right. We'll see. I'll let you know, because I don't want a repeat of what I used to do back in the old SSS comic days, when I would go hell or high water. Mostly high water. We need music as well for the background and stuff. It's
my sons attack the gates.
Thank you all for the auto hostessness. You're telling me I can't draw both hands? I did try actually on when was that? Friday? I think it was. Was that yesterday? It is. It's Saturday today, isn't it? Yeah, I tried that yesterday, and not good. So long ago, I know. Let's get music up that won't get this VOD claimed, as I have discovered Cuphead will. The most copyright claims on a video. I think it was like 13. It's a bit excessive, you only needed one. Alright, what have we got? Solidarity will draw you a doodle with your offhand during this stream. Will that be in solidarity, or will that be in comparative embarrassment as I look at it and go, how did you do that? I drew over the left-hand thing that I did, so I can't show it, unfortunately. But, sorry, I forgot I was looking for music. I have the extended Don't Starve soundtrack because I didn't realise I had it. Evidently, as they updated the game, they updated the soundtrack, so we could do that. Put it on shuffle, actually. It's quite a good soundtrack to put on shuffle. That. Turn it down a tad. As my first mistake, I listened to music. That's a mistake. Oh, right, yeah. I am working very, very slowly. I'm working my way towards making my own background music for streams. I've got some silly ideas I want to do. Yeah, so doodles. I had an idea for a silly thing I wanted to draw. Yes, it's Dark Souls. But it's also Bloodborne. Haha. What such variety, I know. Okay, so now we don't. The idea being there is a character from Dark Souls 2 who you won't really know particularly well because I didn't show off them particularly well, nor indeed did I show off their catchphrase because of the poorly translated mod I played with. But there's a character called Gavlan, who I love. They are a big old dwarf. Sounds like a contradiction in terms, but they are quite big. The chart's too far away. Yes, so there's a character called Gavlan, and they are a vendor, and basically all they ever say is Gavlan wheel, Gavlan deal. And they drink a lot of beer. And so I want to draw them using the Ligarius wheel from Bloodborne, because I haven't seen anyone draw that before. I think that would be a nice thing. This will go on the pile with rum and coke, I think. The Into Dark Souls puns. Soulsborne, whatever. So Gavlan has an unusual look. A Guillaume. Gavlan wheel, Gavlan deal. Gavlan is a giant seal. The seals look different. Then again, you don't actually really see any of the person. It's just basically armor, a hat, and a beard. Which I'm fine with. There's nothing wrong with that. You finally finished Full Metal Alchemist, by the way. Hope Try is proud of you. Oh. One day I will get around to watching literally anything Try asks me to watch. So, how are we going to do this? Because Gavlan is not the most nimble of characters. They look like a wardrobe. So I kind of like the idea of this actually being a relatively good illustration at some point, but I'll just do a sort of simple, sketchy sort of thing today. I like the idea of it being one of those sort of, hey, here's the eye line, and then everything's sort of in perspective. Because I never do that. I always do things flat. What up? Gavlan, you don't have a normal shape. What are you? It's just very stocky, I guess. It's a sort of... I also haven't drawn an awful lot today. Again, wrist. So do bear with me. Anyway, how's everybody's weeks been? I think your first internet provider was a Gavlan. What? Long but also short. Sorry, is this a description of Gavlan or is this a description of your week? I got a bit sort of help there. So yeah, you hold the wheel strange. The wheel has handles, which is interesting. Oof, your week has been oof, but you've kept up with running. Marvellous. I need to do more exercise than I am, but I am at least walking. So. Granted, indoors, but still. Running just exhausted me. It just left me with zero energy for the rest of the day. I'm impressed with the people who can actually do it. And I did it for a while. I didn't just go, oh, this is hard. I trained for several months and then did a consistent running schedule for several months and still just hurt like a booger. Thank you, Haters. Doing the NHS. That's the one I did. Having never run at all, you get up to running for half an hour. And it works. Can't say it doesn't work. I still felt like crap, but it worked. Alright, so how to... You detest running, that's fair. So do I. Thing is, I did one of those things where I was like, okay, if I buy the expensive running shoes, I'll actually do it. And I did. And I got my money's worth out of them, but it just turns out I didn't like the thing. But I got some nice shoes. Yeah, I'm trying to get the sort of perspective on this, because again, like there is no body here. Just I have to make up a body. And it's not even a human body. This is like the draw through all over again. What are you, oh, I know what he's doing with the other hand. He's holding a stein of beer. Of course he is. What does his thing look like? Okay, so it's sort of... This is a good way to indicate the perspective. Much rounder on top and flatter on the bottom. That's a good idea. And then some in-betweenies. What What I should do is actually draw the circles that they complete, and then you get the edges lined up properly. Flatter still. See, I would like to spend a little bit of time properly learning to draw with my other hand, because, you know, the more efficient I get, the worse it is for my wrist. So, bit of an issue. To be fair, miss, that's how I feel about yoga, so it all balances out. Tried it once, it made me angry, and I hurt my wrist. These things happen. You hold grudges. That is terrible perspective. This is giving you a big high school art class flashback. I'll take that as an insult. But a well-deserved one, because look at this. He's wearing gloves, obviously. Can't see any skin. Good on that. Gavlan. That doesn't make sense. Ah, whatever, I'll sort it out in post. So... Okay, so that's gotta be flat because of, again, perspective. And the curling of the fingers. So these ones will be a bit more pointing downwards, and these ones will be pointing inwards. I'm doing all the circles in perspective work. No, I've just got to do that all the time. Welcome to my world. Why did you think I simplified the art style of October? Even then, I'm making it more complicated than it should be. Hang on, that's not right. Be smaller and further up, because we need the beard. The true artist anthem will sort it out in post. As always. I'll get that on a t-shirt as well. To pre-apologise for making me... What? Whence with the who, what? I think you're learning... you think you're learning to draw to some degree with your less dominant hand is a good idea. Your right elbow has been acting up something chronic and you're getting stressed. Just be able to sketch confidently with your left hand would be a big help. That's what I'm sort of, the way I divide my work up is somewhat fortunate, in the respect that I could do, for example, colouring and basic shading with my left hand. That wouldn't be too bad. But the sketching and the line art is still definitely a right hand job. This is definitely needed. But yeah, I'd like to draw. Like, it'll probably never be as good because, or at least not with a lot of concerted effort. But just to give my other hand a little break just for a bit would be nice, and yet still get something done. And again, I've got to think about sort of perspective. This looks awful. Why am I going in for details when I haven't sorted out the full picture yet? There's a question. Do you have, like, the widest stance? Like a huge... Oh, look at that! Oh! Oh, look at him. That's really good. I like that. That's by who's that by? That is by Sotkija on DeviantArt apparently, and is very good. Much better than this. This mess. So there's also a little bit of it. So, it's good friendship, and that's what I want to get across. Big ol'. He's got all the armor to go on top of this as well. Just not helping with why it's not looking right. Gavlan wheel, Gavlan deal. I guess he's sort of like the giant blacksmith of Dark Souls 2, kind of, I suppose. Difficult to tell. Anyway, again, one day I'll learn to draw hands, but he's wearing gloves, so it's not too bad. I think this is what's causing a lot of the problems right now. Yeah, that's a bit better. Yeah, I think Gavlan's oddly interesting because there's not many characters in the Dark Souls franchise that are just sort of fine. They've almost always either have had a tragedy happen to them, are currently undergoing a tragedy, or will by the end of the game. But Gavlan's just sort of doing his thing. Gavlan's just wheeling and dealing. No big problem. Not turning out. This needs to get better because of the perspective. Ooh, hang on. Okay, that's a very nice picture. Good. So something more. Again, this is just a rough bit. I will have a slightly less rough version next. You're not playing Animal Crossing, no, sir. Why are you not? I demand that you play the Animal Crossing. Get that good relaxation. So it's sort of like this, and then it's sort of down. You also have a massive hand, but that is about right. A little bit smaller, probably. Haven't even drawn the wheel yet. You've been pre-recording lectures for your summer class before it starts. You've almost got the first fourth done. Cool. Marvellous. I remember when I was in uni, one of my lecturers had to attend a conference and pre-recorded their lecture by just capturing her screen on her computer, and you could see the time and date that she did it, which was the evening before at 11:30 p.m. Love seeing you all have fun today. See, Miss goes water. Been great. You've been managing, started reading. Stand this one. She was great. Claire Dunning. She's a very good physicist. Well, sorry. I have a tendency to call applied mathematicians physicists, but she taught me physics, so that's sort of why I think about it. And she's very cool. So it's sort of, what does this look like? Also getting a wheel done in perspective. How's that gonna work? Okay. So for anyone who wasn't here for the beginning, I'm drawing Gavlan from Dark Souls 2 with the Ligarius wheel from Bloodborne, because of Gavlan's catchphrase, Gavlan wheel, Gavlan deal. And I want it to be the open form, so it's got like horrible skulls coming out of it. Because then it doesn't just look like a normal wheel. So this is one of those ones where I probably should have mocked it up in 3D first. And with just basic shapes. Yes, that's about accurate, yes. Really difficult. No, I'm trying to work out one with spoked. Like, it's spoked to be easy. That doesn't work. Calculus 1! Yay! Mean value theorem, limits, all that good stuff. Spoketacular, there we go. Got there in the end. Oh, I've got to draw the spokes in perspective as well. That's even worse. This looks terrible. It's also not right. Always zoom out when you're doing these things. Let me finish off Gavlan just so I can get the actual perspective sorted. As if there's going to be anything consistent. Do you have feet? According to this fan art, the very, very good fan art, you do, but it's difficult to tell. Yeah, kind of. They just look like squares, to be honest, but we'll go with it. You also have a very wide, much wider than this. Yes, thank you. Cool. And then just like the actual gap between the legs is quite significant. So yeah, let's say that's our sort of horizontal line. So this would be that, and then basics. Terrible. What did I expect? I'm not trying. If you don't try, you get what you put in. You shot down a balloon and got a cat litter tray. Who is sending these balloons up? That's what I want to know. I remind myself this is supposed to be a flat perspective. Not, you know, it's not like that's the vertical. This person is just short. You look too tall. Your figuring is basically if you can stay at least a week ahead of your students, then they can work ahead if they want, and you have wheel rooms so you can, if you can't record something one day. It's always good to have a bit of a backlog to work through before you get to panic time. It's like October. October's got, I think I'm 3 weeks ahead of Patreon with October. This detail doesn't matter too much because there's like big chunky armor in front of it. This is actually behind the armor, so. It looks wrong, but if you look at his model, it looks wrong, so it's fine. The raccoon kids are trying to send SOS calls to get rescued, but the player keeps shooting them down. That's a weird SOS. Save us! Save us! Here's a litter tray. And 7,000 Easter eggs. More disturbing when you shoot one down and find a human skeleton in it. That's a different kind of SOS, I think. That's more like it. It's not a good circle, but that kind of deal. Deal. That kind of Gavlan deal. Ah, sorry. It'd also be quite big on you, wouldn't it? Sorry, it's just me trying to struggle with any semblance of perspective there. Hang on, this usually helps. Ah, no. good. It helped me see that it was bloody awful. Has to be ovular, isn't a word, is it? Elliptical, let's say. That doesn't seem right. This is chainmail, isn't it? Is that? What is that? There are no good pictures of Gavlan. Why does that exist? Wait, hang on. Someone said earlier Gavlan turned into a seal or whatever. Why is there is actually a picture of Gavlan as a seal? And I don't know why. Is that a thing? Yes? You don't know. You were just saying words, and you were correct, apparently. Okay, that's a good picture. Okay, so it's like a leather strap, sort of. You do have big hands, don't you? Sonic has big hands, apparently, yes. See, I wish my art class in school taught me any of this stuff. It taught me very basic perspective. This is how you draw a street. In perspective, you put the point, and then you draw the lines from it, and then you do this, and then there's houses in perspective. Isn't that exciting? Now play with paints for half an hour, and ruin the sketch you did. At some point I've got to start thinking about this armor then. So the armor's just sort of made of blocks. I'll do that. Doesn't look like it sort of goes all the way around, just sort of over the top. But it is sort of attached by rope. Oh no, hang on, it's not in between, it's sort of over the top. Something all very scraggly and... as you would expect from this man. Here with foods! Foods! Actually, the arm is... be sort of on the outside. No. Who's this lovely fella? This is Gavlan from Dark Souls 2. He wheel, he deal. It's sort of like padded sort of arm. It's strange. And this just sort of carries on down here, really. Which helps define, I guess, the perspective. Yeah, if you do the contour lines, that's basically this armor. Thought it looked Dark Soulsy. It's just a pun. They say that they have a catchphrase: Gavlan wheel, Gavlan deal. Play on the phrase wheeler dealer, wheeling and dealing. And there's a weapon in Bloodborne which is just a wheel, so I thought I'd give it to them. Let them play with it. Don't really need to worry too much about that because most of this is sort of chainmail. That's too small. It's got to be bigger than that, isn't it? Big old chunky things, these are. Funny how I always call back to Dark Souls. Did you know jokes are funny? In a roundabout way. Jets on a roll. It's a bit looser at the bottom, so like 4 stages, and they get sort of gradually. So the last lots down here. Just to give me a vague sort of sense of what it is I'm trying to do. I desperately need that some days. I think that only works in Danish. Bilingual jokes! Okay, so these ones will be sort of chunking it down this way. They really are just squares of stuff. Probably not quite as thick as I'm drawing them, but just get the idea. Again, I always use too thick a brush when I sketch. I need to get used to using a thinner one. It's just very loosely. Okay, so these ones are sort of. Oh no, that's fine. Yeah. Sort of. Chunky sketch brush for Liff. For Liff! It works with my style of sketching. Well, my style of sketching is defined by it, so it's. So it's less that it's sort of, you know. I was trying to come up with an analogy there, but it didn't quite pan out. Alas. Alas, these things happen. Oh, I've ordered the stickers for next month's Patreon today. Yay! So they got done. I managed to get 14 on one sheet. Hopefully they don't come back and say, no. These are different sizes and some of them are wonky, so I should probably... There's the music I know and love. His feet actually do look like cubes. I think they thought no one would bother to look. Meant to comment on the Patreon post about the stickies and you completely forgot. That's not the face you go for. That's fine. Like, I mean, which ones... Like I say, because I fit 14 on there out of 20, there's a good chance the ones you liked are on there, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Which ones did you like? A lot of things been happening with your brain, just can't handle that and socialising, but you're beginning to find a rhythm for everything, you think? Yeah. Yeah, things have been rough, brain-wise, recently, but, you know, things happen. I'm glad you're finding your rhythms. Yeah, I'm trying to think which ones did I leave off. The lily? I don't think I included the lily. The lamp, which is a shame because I quite like that. Ah, even more music I know and love. Do you know what's quite sort of... Gavlan's sort of an interesting character because he's, like I mentioned sort of before, he's sort of... He wheels and he deals and everyone else is involved in a tragedy. And it's... But it's sort of interesting because he's like... Particularly in Dark Souls 2, the character stories are sort of defined by like... them achieving their goals and then everything going wrong. Going hollow, or it not being what they thought, or whatever. Toaster's real cute. The toaster is on there, the radio isn't, unfortunately. Wasn't too happy with how that came out. But they're still there. If I ever, you know, do another one of them, I can add it on. Unsubscribes. But yeah, like, it's sort of interesting to sort of like... You know, we're always told it's about the journey, not the destination. And Gavlan sort of feels like that. Everyone else is sort of focused on like, this is the goal I'm trying to achieve, and then they achieve the goal, and then they go hollow. But Gavlan's just sort of perpetually, I'm wheeling and dealing. Don't know why. I'm just doing it, and I'm having a good time. Drink, drink. It's just sort of an interesting sort of thing. Like compare that to the merchant. Who I also didn't show off because it's all about dialogue. The merchant in Majula, who starts off being sort of quite meek and not saying much, and you know, being very apologetic. I haven't got much stock. If you want to buy it, you can buy it. And the more of it you buy, the more money he gets, the more stock he invests in, and he starts getting a bit cocky and saying, "Oh yeah, my stuff's selling out, you know, left, right, and centre. And maybe, yeah, I bought some nice stuff. Maybe it's a bit beyond your price point now, but hey, you better buy it before it sells out, you know." And then the more and more stuff you buy, the more cocky he gets, until right up to the point where he's sold everything, and then he just sort of goes mad, forgetting everything and not knowing why he's doing anything, just sort of completely losing his perspective on life because he's achieved the goal he wanted to achieve, and now he has the rest of eternity to not have anything to do. Whereas Gavlan's just like, wheel and deal. And it's sort of, it reminds me of the sort of stoical approach to problems, in as much as you can only really control your thoughts to a certain extent, and your actions. The actions are much better at controlling the thoughts rather than the other way around, it turns out. But you can't really control anything beyond that, and so a lot of how I sort of organise my time and things like that is based on effort. Is like, okay, how am I going to organise my effort for this week and doing all these sorts of things, rather than deadlines, rather than saying I'm going to get this done by this time, and I'm going to work out a schedule of how to do that, so on and so forth, because life can just get in the way. There are too many things I can't control and can't stop from just messing everything up. And you blame yourself when that happens, even though you shouldn't. Whereas if you're focusing on making sure that you are putting in as much effort as you can in any given moment, you can't regret things going wrong because you're still doing that. You may have to redirect it because of bad events, but whatever. Anyway, point being is if you focus a little bit more on the sort of short-term stuff that's actually happening now and the things you can control and do, rather than abstract notions of plans or goals or anything like that, there's a little bit more sort of leeway for the chaos of life, and Gavlan reminds me of that, because it's like, whatever comes, comes. I'm just wheeling and dealing. I'm here for the ride. Facts with Chris and Dark Souls. I cannot take credit for the ancient Greek Stoics philosophies, but and they're not all good, I will say. But that idea of really, particularly given the current news cycle, it is very important to remember what you can control and what you can't. And you can control surprisingly little. But that is a universal truth for everyone, and you shouldn't get too angry or wound up about the things you cannot control. You can adjust your actions and thoughts based on that information, and you can help influence certain things, but you can't control them. So, yeah. The ancient Greeks knew what was up. They predicted social media. That's a lot of detail, but is it good? Yeah, there's really sort of not a lot. You can see through it. Is there any back to this? Is his armor arseless? What's going on? I've never seen the back of Gavlan. He's always up against a wall. So sorry, Christy. The annoying thing is, like, so this is Gavlan, right? Let me get a good picture. Yeah, so this is Gavlan, and he's got like the sort of eye slits of the helmet. But for some reason, a lot of people like using this art, which I think is an enemy in the game of the same race, with like these eye holes rather than slits. And like some people doing art of Gavlan, like this one, which I also really like. They use that helmet instead, which I agree with because it looks really cool. But I'm just wondering why they bothered making two. You really hope his armor is arseless. Look, I won't draw it. Just take it as implied. Yeah, there's not much more to it than that. Here be and Gavlan. He wheel, he deal. Sorry, I've just realised the conversation did go from sort of mindfulness and sort of personal mental health and understanding limits and boundaries and all that sort of thing to arseless armor. The thing about that lot playing games, honestly, how and when do they poop? That is particularly like RPGs and stuff where you're like, You're 7 weeks into this epic storyline, and nobody has had to defecate. Except that one time for comic relief. Whatever, I saw that in post. Everybody poops sometime. Right. There we go. But the feasts are aplenty, yeah. Don't think about it. Oh, okay, so there's sort of hollow wheels. That's interesting. There's an inside rim. There's 6 things on each. Okay, but how many spokes? And 14 spokes. That's enough. Who made this thing? That's what you thought, but you didn't know how to put it into writing. Is it really 14 spokes? It is. Well, that's going to be easy to draw, isn't it? Even this fan-made prop only has 12. Anyway, so yeah, what does it look like when it's open? Full of skulls. Yeah, lots of smoke, skulls, stuff like that. Fair enough. Oh, hang on. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, that's 14. Oh, that's an easier picture. I'm trying to count it through like somebody's back and their arms and stuff like that. I'll just use that one. Just a wheel. Yeah, 14. Wonder why. There's a very sort of big clock tower theme in the game. Why didn't I go for 12? Maybe that'd be too obvious. So, because there's an odd number between, if I go like that, then it will have to go either side of that. Evenly. There's an element of symmetry there. That, so. Obviously, I'll make this better. Eventually. Yeah, no, that doesn't look. Hang on, what am I doing? Easier way of doing this. Why is it you're never ready to make something in traditional mediums when the Saturday stream comes on, even though you always think to yourself, I wish I could draw on the iPad right now, but you're watching on the iPad, what do I do? I mean, some game artists have got to do... That's got to sometimes feel... yeah, it's... Art is fickle. There's one thing anyone who has done art knows, art is fickle. I don't know. Would it help for me to say that your traditional art is exceptionally good and I always look forward to seeing it? Cheats! Whoops. Probably still wrong, but, you know, better than nothing. Better than what I was doing before. Hopefully. Okay, like little things, so that. My inner mathematician got out there. Curly braces! How many of those have I drawn? It took me ages to get used to drawing those. I mean, it's true, you are... First time I saw it, I was like, wow! Very good, you're very good with colour. Like getting the right sort of tones for shadows and things like that. Whereas I always end up with a weird mottled mess. Yeah. I don't know how it sort of... Is it actually attached when it comes apart? I don't know. So the concept art's nice. You know, if I could just draw that, that'd be good. Just knock out one of those. Yep, there's definitely 14 on that as well. It's a lot. Yeah, you see, like in the concept art, they put one of these things. A, this was more detailed, but B, they put one of those for every second spoke, which makes sense. But for some reason, in the finished version, there's only 6 of them for 14 spokes, which is why I was confused that there were 14 spokes when they've already marked out the 6s. And the handles are on the edge. Hang on, they're not on the edge in the game, are they? No, they're not. Good. Whew. Actually go under like. And they're two-sided, so there's another one here. Did the music end? I think the music ended. The extended soundtrack is not much longer. Right. That's that. Morrowind. It's right next to it. Jason Garner and Jeremy Soule have close names. What with the J's and stuff. We'll turn this up a bit because it's quite quiet. Ah, nostalgia. I played so much Morrowind. Did I ever tell you that I played so much Morrowind I caused myself physical injury? Or permanent physical modification? I have a dent in the back of my head because of Morrowind. It's more boring than it sounds. We had Morrowind on the Xbox. I had to play it with the controller, and it was in my brother had the Xbox. It was in his bedroom, and so I would just lay on his bed, playing Morrowind because it was a very, very good game. And the headrest of his bed was just made up of like metal poles. And so I would just rest to the back of my head on these metal poles, and I still have a dent in the top of my head because I spent so long with a metal pole just pushing into the top of my head. It's still there. I can balance pencils in it. So yeah, it's the only game that's physically modified me. Skulls. Fucking. Must not have been comfortable. Well, evidently I got used to it. Probably wasn't comfortable to start with. But my body adjusted. In 1,000 years from now, archaeologists are going to dig up my skull and go, you see, some sort of ritual thing happened here where the skull was deformed. No pillows available. You got to sit up properly. The pillows weren't that good. So, and they also, given that the headrest was just made of a few metal bars, the pillows would just sort of push through. So, but yes, many a month spent playing Morrowind, with Coed and Cambria playing in the background. Okay, so I'm looking at the concept art, and the concept art is very different. It also doesn't make any sense. There's some backface culling going on here. From a picture, a drawn picture. Basically, they forgot to draw a thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's what it looks like transformed. It's just comes apart. I guess it's connected in the middle. That makes sense. So it's connected. Let's turn it off for a second. Yeah, that looks alright. And then the same sort of thing just shifted along a bit in perspective. Let's grab all this. That. Be about. Unfortunately, it stops pretty much where I want it to actually be. That's fine, because we can do this. The middle part. Again, a quick 3D render of this would be very helpful. And very easy. I know how to do stuff like radial symmetry. Very quick to do in Blender. Let's carry this one up. Don't guess, you have all the information there. Doesn't look particularly right, but sort of. Okay, now we do this. Get rid of everything that will be covered up. Does look a bit small, doesn't it? So if I fix that by fixing this. Okay. I'll leave it green. It's easy, makes it stand out. It's a try. Hello. How you doing? So down with your paints. Ooh, exciting stuff. I'm going to draw it back. I'm going to assume these are not arseless. Apologies for anybody whose hopes had been raised. But I mean, actually, in this perspective, you wouldn't see much anyway, would you? A bit there. The perspective isn't that strong. It's still wonky. Yay, wonky. Look at that, yesterday I haven't asked for your May doodle yet. You did? Where is it? Today was a bad drawing day. It has been begun. It has been sketched a bit. You will get it soon. Give it to him in 7 months. Give it to him on his birthday. Okay. So I did kind of screw that up by erasing rather than masking, didn't I? That's fine. it again. Right. Scary skeleton faces. Spooky, scary skeleton. I am reliably informed they send shivers down your spine. That's a big nose. Look at that. Look at that schnoz. It's a big old nose on a skull, that. Love it. Love a skull with definition. But yeah, they're just sort of screamy things in the game, aren't they? Hello! Hello, Akira. How you doing? What would that look like with the skin on? No, is that one? That one, right? There. Big nose. What it would look like. Spoilers! There's a wheel. You just woke up. Cool, did you have a nice sleep? Right, okay, I can... Yeah, skulls, that's what I'm doing. So... Ooh. Ooh. How do skull? Again, it's not sort of really skull, it's definitely some sort of stretchy skin. I'm doing this sword on the wrong layer. Oh yeah. Ooh. They have spiky teeth. Bad art day, drawing good art right now, liar. Look. We were talking about how fickle art can be. And also, it's not all about art. Sometimes it's also about disposition and mood. And drawing on stream is usually a good time. Oops. was sort of smoking at the bottom, but it does sort of flamey uppy sort of thing at the top. That'll do. Not the perspective didn't work out quite as I would like. It just looks like he's leaning back, but you know, these things happen. Right. I'm gonna have to save. And we should probably have a crack at... Yeah, I was gonna do a better sketch. Maybe it's worth doing line art. A bit bigger. Actually, is it better off having the drink spill out this way? Also, how does water behave? I should learn how to draw water. And hands, and bodies, and faces. And anything. Right, we can have a crack at doing... I want to do a sort of thinner, sketchy line art. And horses? No, I've got those nailed. I did think the other day, should I do Jockeytober again? I thought, depends. Can I get away with it? References for everything, yes, and I'm not. Honestly, the wheel doesn't look too terrible. I keep randomly getting people liking the Jockeytober stuff on Instagram. It's a bit weird. People like horses, I guess. Do whatever you want. I think the fun part of Jockeytober was just going completely off topic. Like drawing the pangolin with a mouse on it. And the invisible one, which I did draw. I still have that drawing. I'm the only person who's seen it. Homestead of this man. Sorry. This is Gavlan from, apparently, according to the wiki, is called Lonesome Gavlan. They don't seem lonesome. They seem like they're having a whale of a time. But, yes, Gavlan is a character from Dark Souls 2. They are a merchant, and they wander around saying, Gavlan wheel, Gavlan deal. And so I thought I'd give them the wheel from Bloodborne. That's it. That's the thing. So yeah, I suppose I'll have a crack at doing some line up. Line up for the wheel. Randomly chosen? No, it was just a pun. It's a pun on wheel. Wheeling and dealing. Gavlan wheel, Gavlan deal. I just had it in my head and I wanted to do it. That's nice. Little thing. Knew who he was prior I got it. He's from Dark Souls 2. I know everything about Dark Souls 2. That's not true. But I like him because he's like the only character who's just sort of happy-go-lucky. So everyone else is having a terrible, terrible time and he's just like, Gavlan wheel? Drink, drink, drink. Shall we attempt to cheat? / save ourselves a lot of hassle. Oh, hang on. Stop flickering, Cintiq. You make me worried. My Cintiq does not like the heat. Always in the summer months it starts having stress times. I'm like, I can't afford another one of you. So then what we do is we wish I kept my construction. That. Lovely. Stop it. Down like that till it hits the tangent. It's too far away. Still a little bit of jiggery-pokery to get this right, but that's too foreshorteny. Okay, that's interesting. Cool. That just means my sketch wasn't very good. So that means I need to do something. Get the same sort of size I need. This is why you plan things out properly. Oh, whoops, wrong there. Cool. You press Alt once, and it thinks you forever want to get something out of a menu. No. Alt is the copy this layer thing. Is that alright? That looks better. Smudged. Speaking of merch, no. In between. Ben, no, no. Ah. Okay, no. V, no. V. There you go. I'm not going to resort to your twisted ways of Control C, Control V. How dare you insinuate I would stoop to such a level? Can you do that? No, not really. I'll do it by eye. It's fine. I was thinking if I could do one of my fun perspective tricks to work out where these should go, but I'll just do it by eye. Ah, this music! Making the dent in the back of my head feel nostalgic. Okay. Now we do exactly the same thing, but all the bits in the middle. I probably should have done this together, shouldn't I? That's fine, because what I can do is I can... Okay, I have a better idea. Good. Oh, cool. What involves less work? That's the aim here. Right, so I want to turn these two down a lot, and then this one down a bit. Right, now we're going to start working on this face of the wheel. First of all, I'm going to grab this and make it a bit smaller. Good, we have a rim. And now we're going to do it again. Inside. For a sec. Whoops. Okay, that's fine. And then the rim for that. You finally labelled every layer for something. It was your most recent gift exchange drawing, the one with no line art. You were painting it, you knew there'd be a lot of detail, so you actually thought about it and chose layers carefully and actually labelled them. Cool. The middle of the wheel. We won't see it, but worth knowing where it is. The line art does get variable here, so hang on. It'll actually be better for me to grab this again. More guides. There. This. Yeah. Stop moving. Stop moving! How dare you! Epic battle! What could we possibly be facing on this dangerous quest? Oh, it's a cliff racer. Okay. Actually not quite right, is it? Because I want that to be... Okay, yeah, it does work. Just. Sketch for a second. Okay. Oops. So again, it's not particularly accurate. It's just enough to give me what I want, what I really, really want. Yeah, I don't need that. So now, with that in place, we collect it all together. And we call it wheel 1. And then we turn on this again, double it, and make it line up. You've leveled up. Close enough. And then I stick this on. Get rid of all this. Spending far too much time on this. Okay, and then I go on top of this and find in particular, actually, we need that to taper off, don't we? Oh no, we don't even need the middle one, do we? So that's that one, yeah? Cool. Get rid of that. Cool, and then we can go here. Free that up a smidge.
That wasn't necessary of you, but you have my thanks.
Fry Elijah? Aiya? Apologies for the mispronunciation. Thank you for the follow. It's very nice of you. Okay. That's not absolutely terrible. Spokes. Let's do the spokes. They'll be in between, obviously. And we can use straight lines for those as well, because they are straight lines. We will get our little helpful guide and move it to where it probably should be. In the middle like that. And then just cheat our way to victory. Oop, wrong one. It's a bit thin, isn't it? Okay, here's a workaround. Yeah, that'll do. We are seeing quite far inside. Yeah, no, that'll be okay. So I needed to go a bit further, actually, didn't I? Riveting stuff, I know. Exciting streams. However, can you contain your excitement? Watching a stream will never be the same again because you think, oh, it wasn't exciting as that time when Crispy was drawing spokes. Spokes! Methodically, one by one. Those were the days. Whoops. Bespoke spokes. Spoke bokes. Phenomena. Stoked for spokes. Stoked for bespoke spokes. And thus, I spoke. Oh yeah, that's the point. I need to link the middle bit. Do that in a sec. Honestly, drawing Gavlan will be the easiest bit. On the plus side, this hasn't buggered up my wrist like I thought it would. Okay. So they will terminate around about there, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, and now for the back bit. There's a bit of overlap there. Right, now that middle bit. uh, this is where the guesswork comes in. Look at that now. Oh, I just got that weird thing. The what's it called? Multi-stable perception thing, where I saw that cylinder the other way around. So rather than this being the front, rather than this being the front and this being the back, I got that it's sort of pointing that way. That doesn't help really, does it? But this is the front of it. Yeah. Multi-stable perception. It's a fun thing. MCS's favorite type of perception. Whoops. There, okay, that's not absolutely dire. Does look a little bit not quite on center, is it? Something's off about this. Oh, I moved it, but I didn't scale it, did I? Can I? No. But can I? Grab there. This is why I wanted a 3D reference thing. So what I want to do... This is going to be incredibly pernickety. It's a little better. Now this is definitely cheating. That makes sense. That feels better, doesn't it? that'll come out a little bit further because it will be outside of the wheel itself. Yeah, I'm not crazy, right? That looks better. Still not perfect, but I think better. Okay, so now I need to fix the wheel. What do I need to do? I need to... These are the spokes, so let me just sort this out. This is not how I expected this stream to end. But here we are. And this is why you mask and don't delete. Because now, I can go to here, and I can just put that back in. Unfortunately, I did delete the spokes. So, oh, did I? Yes, I did. That's fine, because it's not that far off. Will I ever finish this? Probably not. All right. Weird. Okay. Guess he'd be reinventing the wheel and making it lopsided. My reinvention was not necessary nor welcomed. Okay, that's a wheel. Now, what we do, double the whole thing. Back it over here. Hang on. Yeah, that's gonna be fun of it. Ah, no, don't do that. Morrowind has ended. It's almost the end of the stream. We should put on something brief. Let's do my ones. Why not? Complete change of atmosphere. Right, okay, so this is... What's that? Nothing? Apparently nothing. Grab this, copy, drag it over here. Alright, there we go. Ah, well no, I want my guides for this. Go to you. Okay, my computer might not like this. I'm using a lot of layers here. I need to get rid of you. Not you. You. Wait, hang on. Why do I have two of those? Okay, I can get rid of one. Accidentally made two. Turn you off. Make you a little brighter. Also, for the sake of argument, make you pink. Ah. Make it stand out a bit better. This is when my computer has a go at me. Yeah, no, it does not like that. Okay. Sure, I can flatten that, that's fine. There we go. I probably should have put that bit in, shouldn't I? Oh, that's right, I've got the guides, I can do that by hand. I'm very much talking to myself now. What I mean is putting in this bit. This is like the inside. In fact, it should probably be a little inside more than that, because obviously the outside of the wheel has to have a thickness. What you want is the thickness. And also, probably some stabilization, because your hands are not very smooth. Better. Got that, and then this one. Let's give us that inside from these. This here. Cool. This is the most pernickety part of this. Everything else is going to be a bit more freeform and also off stream because it's the end of the stream pretty much. Okie dokie, so this will go behind like that. Now here's the question, do I... Okay, let's do this. Make this normal, go on top of here like this, make it pink. That. Or, actually, easier way, ignore all of that. Grab this, and then grab all of the white space. There's the... and then just make that a mask for this. There's a wheel. And then eventually I will do the rest of it. One day. There we go. We'll get there, but until then, thank you for coming along. Looks really good. I'm going to go back in the VOD and count up the number of wheel puns. How dare you. Yeah, thank you for coming along. Turns out this wasn't a short stream. My wrist behaved, which I don't know why it behaved now. I have actually moved my tablet. It's usually quite high and vertical, and now it's down low and a bit more horizontal. Trying to work out what's best. This is the problem with getting more efficient, is I end up drawing more. Gotta look after me arm, you know. Thank you for coming to stream. Hopefully you had a good time. Hopefully it was nice and relaxing. The music was nice and relaxing, and now we've got this. I'm trying to take care of myself. I don't want to bugger everything up. Yeah, so thank you for coming along. Tomorrow we have more Sekiro, where we will begin the stream. Well, firstly we will begin the stream by going to a bunch of places with water that I forgot about. But after that, we'll be doing my favourite thing in the game, which I won't tell you about, so you have to come along and see it. I love it. Yeah. We're not far off finishing it, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. Like 2 or 3 more streams? Maybe? It depends how long the last boss takes, put it that way. That might be a whole stream in and of itself. I've heard it's a bit of a bugger. That's the one thing I will say about Sekiro, is its difficulty curve is all over the place. But again, it still has that sort of justified feel of, oh, I'm getting better, I'm learning, I screwed up, so on and so forth. But yeah, just like, there's a few bosses that are just so much more difficult than anything else. But anyway, we don't have to worry about that. Actually, we probably do have to worry about that, so... Blah, 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 blah. Yes, that's tomorrow. Have a wonderful remainder of the weekend, everybody. I hope you're having a good time. And remember that in the words of the wonderful and ever correct Miss, remember to breathe. Take a little bit of time to breathe and relax, because it's important. Surprising how much it can help. So, yeah, have a wonderful time, everyone. What song's next? That's going to be our outro. Oh, Mars needs cheerleaders. I never play this. Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Have a fantastic time. And enjoy yourselves. Goodbye.